I asked my colleague from my very first school why they spit, and she said that you must notice that it's men who usually spit and not women. And it is associated with smoking. That is what she said. But I think it's just a habit.
But why spit like as soon as the person passes?
No,
I feel like they're always spitting.
They're always spitting.
They always.
Every time. But I think here in Suzhou, compared to where I was, it's much better. They don't.
Yeah, definitely. They don't really.
If you go to the villages, they do it so much.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Cam, what's your experience when it comes to racism?
So my experience has been similar and different to like everyone else. Like, yeah, when I first got here, definitely people would stare. You know, you're just sitting on the metro, going somewhere, people stare, or people whip out their phones and just record you. We're just walking down the street. I'm like, so yeah, so at first it was like really cool. I was like, oh, I feel like a celebrity, like Chris said. You know, like people don't usually do that back in the US. So here I was like, wow, they're taking a picture of me? Like, I'm just a nobody. But then sometimes it's just like really annoying, especially after you've had like a long day and you're already irritated. People just start taking pictures of you, and then sometimes it just makes you feel like a freaking animal. Like, why are you taking a picture of me? Like, literally, I'm nobody. Like, what are you taking a picture of me for? Like, do I really stand out that much? And like other people have said, I think things definitely did get worse after coronavirus. Like, I'm sure we've all been in an elevator, and then the Chinese person's about to get on, and they see you, and they're like, oh, wait for the next one. You know, and then there was a lot of restaurants and hotels that didn't allow foreigners. And even now on Airbnb, if you want to book an Airbnb, even in Shanghai, which is like probably the most international.
Chinese ID.
Yeah,
right?
you have to have a Chinese ID. Even foreigners can't book Airbnb, even in Shanghai, which is like probably the most international city in China, which, you know, I still find like really weird.
I think you can book some Airbnbs, but for the most part, it's just want you to have a Chinese ID.
Yeah, like I've done it where I go with a Chinese person and they book it, and then like obviously my passport's not on the file, but I still show up and the host sees me and they're like, okay, it's no problem as long as we have the Chinese ID on file.
Okay. Because recently I tried to book an Airbnb for somewhere here in Suzhou because we were making plans for Christmas, whatever. And the owner of the house was okay with me being a foreigner.
Really?
She just said it's okay as long as you have your green code, and if things change, you'll just have to go and do a test. That was very nice of her.
Yeah, that's really nice, and you have to deal with all that. But yeah, other than that, like I've also had, you know, like Chris said, I'll sit down on a bus and people will like move to a different seat because they're too close to me, or put on their, like as soon as they see me or I'm walking with someone from work, they put on our mask, or put on their mask as soon as we walk by, like just silly things like that. It's never like big or like in your face. It's usually just like subtle racism.
What I experienced like on Saturday, right, when I was at the mall. I was walking with two friends, and then this kid just do like, go run.
Where do you think he learned that from?
But the parents,
exactly, that's what I was about
parents.
to say. He learns it from the parents.
Yeah, the parents are the ones who put like the mask first, and the kid just
is one.
I mean, they probably saw the parents put on the mask, and I thought, I should go run.
To think of it, the other people in this country that were not wearing masks, right? We were wearing masks, but when they see their locals, they don't
care.
Hands.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes it's just ignorance. Ignorance is bliss, you know. So
I actually saw on somebody posted on TikTok or whatever how they were being verbally assaulted by a Chinese person in Starbucks in Shanghai. And he was also a patron to Starbucks, so he wasn't an employee or anything like that. But he was there and he was going, and this guy was a foreigner, he was drinking his coffee or whatever. And then one of the Chinese guys came to him and started telling him to put on his mask. And he's like, but I'm having my coffee in Starbucks.
How are you supposed to have
drink?
No, how are you supposed to have a mask on and drink coffee at the same time?
Yeah, that's what he asked. How do I keep my mask on and drink coffee at the same time? And this guy just became really like angry and agitated, started swearing at the foreigner basically. Foreigner was just like, but everybody else is not wearing a mask. The guy still stood up and told everybody else in Starbucks to put on their mask as well. Exactly. Yeah, until
if I have to put on a mask, everyone has to put on their mask.
But until an employee came in, and the employee also asked, but now what's the problem? And he's like, you better put on your face mask. To the foreigner. And the foreigner's like, but I'm not going to, I'm enjoying my coffee. Like, I'll do it after I'm finished with my coffee. Like, and that's crazy. But again, for me, I haven't experienced any racism or anything pre-COVID. Post-COVID, however, I would say the racism, similar with booking Airbnbs, was the problem with booking hotels. We needed to call in advance and ask, like, are you accepting us as foreigners? And if so, what do you need from us to prove that, we don't have the virus and we've been here since before COVID happened. Yeah.
Oh, when I arrived in my first school, the parents were not very happy with me because I'm black. That's expected. Like, when I was coming here, I think everyone was talking about how parents are very skeptical, to get like a black teacher. But yeah, and my principal stood up for me and whatever. And eventually my work spoke for itself. And yeah, they got over that. But I've never experienced any racism in terms of someone actually coming to, I don't know, do something extreme because I'm black or whatever. I've had people move chairs on a train, on a bus, those kind of things. But I've never, been directly involved in racism. Just like how in Guangzhou it was like extreme. People were being evicted on their apartments
After coronavirus, right?
After Corona,
Then what was that stupid thing that people were saying? Like, that was, so you live in the same apartment block or whatever. They were scared, or the tenants were scared that the locals were scared that if a foreigner uses the toilet and flush the toilet, that the COVID virus will spread via that.
Oh my God.
It was so messed up. Do you remember reading that?
I remember that. Yeah. Anyways, now let's just talk about our experiences in different cities. So, how many cities have you been in, and how was your experience based off different cities? Like, how was your experience in City 1 compared to City 2? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So, I've been in Suzhou for my entirety of my time here in China. And honestly, for the most part, it's like a really nice city. It's a tier 2 city, and the only highest is tier 1. But it's really nice here. It's beautiful. It's very quiet. It's like a good place to raise a family. There's not a lot to do in terms of entertainment, but there's a lot of like shopping you can do. There's a lot of restaurants. Like Suzhou food is known for being very sweet, and I really like sweet food. So I'm happy about that. The food is good. Quality of life here is very like easy and laid back and convenient. Like here in China, they got their own version of everything that we have back in America. They got like Uber Eats, like their own Amazon, like everything. Like you can get food delivered to your house, groceries delivered to your house. You can order things on Taobao, which is like Chinese Amazon, and gets delivered to your house. And usually things are a lot cheaper because everything's made in China. I will say I do like Shanghai the most out of all the cities I've been to, because it's just really fast paced, and like I like the big city life. Like I come from San Francisco, and there's just a lot of foreigners there. It's very international. Shanghai is like a good blend of Western and Eastern cultures, which I really like. Meanwhile, like I'm living here in Suzhou, and where I'm working, it's a lot more Eastern, and there's just a lot more to do in Shanghai. Like, I really yeah, it's my favorite city. Like I go there a lot.
Just
yeah, but it's just so expensive. That's the thing.
Oh,
the rent
yeah,
is
yeah,
expensive. Not as expensive as San Francisco, but it's very expensive.
Yeah. What I noticed with Shanghai is there's a lot of foreigners. Oh my gosh, I saw a lot of foreigners in one street. Like I was walking and I was like, foreigner. A foreigner. Like, what is this?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like
foreigners.
in Suzhou, sometimes you walk down the street, people stare at you. In Shanghai, they're used to it because there's just so many foreigners there. Like when I walk down the street in Shanghai, I actually feel like normal for once. Like no one's gonna stare at me or do anything. Like I just feel like a normal person walking down the street.
On that though, with feeling like a normal person walking on the street, you need to also know that in Shanghai you have like easily 1,000 people walking on the street in comparison to here. And that's like every day. Like here, like literally, like here you would see maybe about 50 to 100 people at a time walking on the street or something like that. Whereas in Shanghai, it's just busy.
Like I said, Suzhou is a lot more laid back, and Shanghai is a lot more fast paced. For sure.
A cup of tea.
So,
So for me, I lived in 2 different cities, one being tier 4, going to tier 3, and then now Suzhou. So the one was Joko. In Joko, living there, I actually enjoyed the peace and quiet that it offered, where I needed to travel to go out and party kind of a thing. But also, wherever you go, you bring the party yourself. So, there's that. However, moving in Suzhou now, I really love it. I've never felt more at home than what I do now in the past 3 years that I've been staying in China. So, being around foreigners, a lot of people take that for granted, but it's actually really, really, like, it's comforting. because I never had that in a tier 4 city where I stayed before. So if you are considering to come to China, perhaps that is something to take into mind. I especially love Suzhou because there's a lot of greenery, there's a lot of parks, there's a lot of places to go to, mountains to hike on and stuff like that. So that's dope. I enjoy that.
Cool, nice. Many.
I initially started off in Yueching City. It's a very, very small city. We only had one mall, and it was very quiet. And in Yueching City, there weren't many foreigners. I just knew of 4 foreigners in Yueching, so it was very lonely, and also like I didn't like it a lot because it wasn't a developed city. So I moved to Wenzhou, which is just about maybe an hour away from Yueching. And Wenzhou was really, really nice. It's known as the warm city in China. So it was very, very comfortable. The living costs were also very affordable. And what I liked about Wenzhou was the mountains. Like, it's famous for the Yangdao Mountains. I'm not sure if you guys heard of it, but it's very, very beautiful. And after Wenzhou, I moved to Suzhou, and Suzhou is also a very nice city. It's more developed than Wenzhou. And what I like about Suzhou is like the lush landscape. It's known for its gardens and its parks, and it's really, really beautiful. And the air quality is also quite nice.
Nice. Chris?
Oh, so as for me, I think I've been to most cities more than you all because I've changed jobs a lot. I've been to 4 cities. The first one was Shanghai in Hebei province. It's a tier. I don't even think it's maybe tier 4 or 3 because it's just rural areas. And it's very dusty. Like, even if you close the windows and when you come back and then you just do like this, you will find that your table is so dirty. So there's a lot of dust in the place, and there are so many factories. So I moved from there. I went to Leshan, which is a tier 3 city, which was a great upgrade for me because when I moved to Leshan, there were a bit of like foreign people there, but in Hengshui there were no foreigners. So I started to feel like I'm alive because in Leshan there were some foreigners from Turkey, UK, South Africa, and the USA. Then I moved and went to a place called Chidong. It's near Shanghai, so the place is also nice. It's closer by the beach, so the air was fresh, everything was good there. There's a lot of greenery. So I also moved from there. Then I moved to my current city in Suzhou, where I think, is it tier 2 or
2?
Yeah, so it's way developed than all other cities I've been to. Life is so convenient here. Even when I'm coming to work, I use a subway. So it's just like me moving from a small city to bigger cities. So it's very good in Suzhou. And there are lots of foreigners, as Dele said. The nightlife is very nice. There are lots of clubs there you can go to and have parties, right, with foreigners and Chinese.
So my experience has just been the same because I was in a tier 2 city in Wuxi, and this is also a tier 2. So it basically is just somewhere in between a fast life-paced city and a slow-paced city. But it's nice for someone like me who is I'm not so outgoing as other people. But yeah, I've enjoyed my time in Wuxi, and so I'm liking tier 2 cities. I don't really like fast-paced places like Shanghai because even if you want to go out, you have to wait for like 30 minutes for a taxi to arrive because there's always a queue.
It's even longer when you're trying to get home. Like, everyone's leaving the club, you gotta wait like 30 minutes because there's like 50 people ahead of you.
Yeah,
it takes forever.
I don't think that's my kind of.
No, not my kind of.
Yeah.
You're welcome to go.
I know.
So to close off, I would like for us to talk about what would we have changed or what would we have done differently in terms of coming to China. I'll go first so that I give you an idea. So for me, it's just that I feel like I didn't do it fast enough. I spent so much time in South Africa struggling and working so hard for that company that I used to work for, that bank. And I would have used my time here. I would have been like living my best life while I'm getting paid for it. Yeah, who wants to?
I will actually continue with that because I feel the exact same way about, not that I've wasted time, but most of all, like I should have gone into teaching a lot sooner because I really love what I do. I can't see myself doing something else, ever, basically. So that level of happiness, like, yeah, sure, I earn a lot of money, but there's no paycheck.
No, you earn a lot of money.
Basically.
Yeah, I feel like for teaching, I earn a lot of money for teaching.
For
and
teaching,
also, I don't feel like
exactly.
I'm doing so much work. Like, it's so difficult, you know?
Yeah. And it's a joy. Like, the kids make me laugh every day. I love it. So
I literally get kisses and hugs every day.
Yeah, and they will run to you and say, Dale, I love you. You know, and that's so
it's
cute.
so fulfilling.
Thank you, exactly. Yeah.
How about you?
Well, me, I would say the obvious: learn the language, or learn enough to get around before you get here. Otherwise, you're gonna feel very lost, like I did. And second, I would say do some research on the cities before you go, before you
That's
decide.
very important.
Because like I didn't know much about Suzhou, and I got lucky. It's a tier 2 city, and it is very
Beautiful
convenient. But you know, obviously, me personally, I would be happier in Shanghai. So like, just do your research and find the city you'd be happiest in.
Go back.
I think we should help him find a job.
Exactly, go back.
Let me find an apartment. You guys can stay for free.
Yeah. Many?
I think it's very, very important to download like a VPN before arriving into China, because once you get into China, it's almost impossible to get like a good VPN service, and it's very difficult to find people that sell VPN products. So get your VPN before you come. Also try and learn a bit about the language before you come to China. And another important thing is to carry like your medicines, because Chinese medicines aren't good. Like they're very, very weak, and when you're coming here for the first time, you're going to experience food poisoning, and it is not not like food poisoning back in South Africa, which can go away within a day. Here you suffer for a whole week. You suffer for a whole week.
3 years later.
So make sure like you carry enough medicine, things like Panado, Imodium. It's very important to package all of that before arriving into China.
If you drink alcohol, bring grandpa for the babalas.
For the babalas.
Because in China, all the medicine is natural, like medicine, and it doesn't agree to some people.
Yeah, true.
Chris?
Myself, I would say that I really came to China prepared, because there's a group that I used to go to on Facebook. So I will see people commenting and posting that you should have this and that. And one of the important things that they mentioned is that you should come with your own spices.
Yes.
You should come with your own food from South Africa, which you can cook in South Africa. Not like chicken, no. But I'm saying you should come with your own spices, maybe like barbecue spices. Those are the things that I brought here. Candies, biscuits.
You want biscuits?
I brought biscuits, like I had biscuits. I also brought my own what do you call this, skin lotion. I bought it from South Africa, because the ones here in China, I don't feel like they are original, because like you just put on and then the next minute when you do like this, you're dry. So yeah.
Even like, have you guys noticed how expensive Vaseline is in China compared to South Africa?
I probably have to import it.
It is always
But it was really expensive.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for watching. This is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a comment down below, and like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys on my next video.
Subscribe.
Subscribe, I don't know where it is. Somewhere. Press the subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.